Can I get everyone's attention, please? Again, we thank you for being in attendance tonight. Welcome to Volunteer High School. Again, this is an exciting time for me and Volunteer, the community here, representing Sigornsville and Churchill. Again, those of you parents, stakeholders, coaches, family members, Coach Wagner has his family with us tonight, and we'd like to welcome them, and we appreciate you all being in attendance. I'd also like to start by thanking our Board of Education, the Director Hickson, Thomas Floyd, Dr. Sturgill, our assistant principals, and everyone that's been involved in this process and really thrown their support our way. It was a monumental, if you want to say that, extensive search. It took some time and took a lot of effort, it took a lot of research, it took a lot of talking to other people, and really it took a lot of strength from all of us to unite and come together with one conclusion, and that we're going to move forward with Jeremy Wagner as our next head football coach. I'd like to say thank you to the student athletes that are here. There's some of them that are not here tonight that I spoke with in detail when we knew we were in the process of hiring a next head coach, and their insights were taken for most value. I wanted to hear from them, and I heard them clearly, and what they have told me and what they expressed, I took to heart. I've done this for 14 years at the middle school level and now 5 years at the high school level, and the center of why I do or why I want to stay part of athletics and have stayed part of athletics is because of the student athletes. And I know that the group that is in here tonight and those that are going to be a part of this going forward are all believe that the student athletes are the most important thing that we're doing here and being a part of. So again, I appreciate those players and the leadership that they took to come out and be a little vulnerable and talk to me and have the respect and confidentiality in me to make that final decision. And one that's here tonight gave me that assurance just the other day he said, "I trust you, Mr. Bailey. I know you're going to make the right decision for the student athletes." And I will say but we will make that right decision. It was a collective effort. And again, we want to thank those. Throughout the search, it was vast. And I said that in the interim, that the candidacy would vary differently in that. And we had 30 plus candidates from Manitoba, Canada, to Florida, to out west, to Texas, to right here at home, Virginia, and a lot of local applicants. And it was extensive. It was hours on hours of researching, and again, I've talked about that and how that went. It took a few weeks, and a lot of you all were anxious. I know that. You're biting the bullet, and the players, they come to me every day. Can we meet? Can we meet? Can we meet? When we're going to meet? And that may have been overbearing at some point to you, and I apologize if it was, but it needed the effort and it needed the time, and we needed to make sure that the best interest for the student athletes was at the center of what we were doing. I do want to acknowledge and appreciate Jefferson County High School, where Coach Wagner is leading from, and the insight that they provided unassisted. They wanted us to know who Jeremy Wagner was as a coach, who he was as a teacher, who he was as a person, and they got that to us and was very willing to help give us information that supported Jeremy, and knowing that he was somebody that was pivotal to their success down there, and that they were going to be losing a very strong man in their community. And that was across the board. So thank you, Jefferson County. Thank you to their administration providing what they provided in this search. And again, thank you to all the candidates. Several of you are here tonight. I've talked to you, and you know it wasn't easy. I'm an emotional guy a lot of times on these things, and And I love so deeply that part was hard, and it still is, as you can tell. But I do appreciate those that applied, that wanted to be leaders of these men, and that have, especially Coach Castle, that stepped in the interim when he didn't have to, in a very tough situation, and went with it and done the best job that he could do in that time. And he's been loyal to this community, and I appreciate you so much for being here tonight. Jeremy Jones, Sommers, and the rest of the staff that's here, thank you. Thank you for continuing to lead these men, for loving them, and even in the process, you continued to work. You helped me build a schedule, and that's forever grateful. I thank you. We left no stone unturned in this search, I believe. Hours on hours, as I've talked. I can't say that enough. But going forward, we believe that Jeremy had the vision that matched our mission of Volunteer High School, and that was to build a program built on someone that could inspire and then educate. And not that these others could not, but we believe Jeremy's going to do that and do that. That's what stood out when you talk to everyone about him, is how inspiring and how he educated, not only on the field, but how he educated special education students, how he educated teachers, how he educated his staff, and brought them along and developed them into better leaders, better coaches, better students. And I think the inspiration, I think you're going to see that, and I think that you already see that he's been working with these guys already. It's been 2 days on the job, and he's lifted 2 days, and he's been here for hours on hours. And I want to thank the family again. That's a lot on you here at Christmas to make this change so drastically, and you've endured it, and we've endured it, and I want to thank my family that is at home that has endured as well. We're going to get through this and celebrate Christmas and into the new year, and put some focus there when we get done tonight. We believe, if you look in front of me right here, it says 10 things that don't take any talent. And I believe that Jeremy Wagner, and we believe that Jeremy Wagner meets every one of those. He is in it for the right reasons. He leads with his heart first. He is a community guy, and he loves this community. He has come full circle back to his home that built him, and in his own words, he'll speak in a little bit, quite literally saved his life. And there's men in this room tonight that were a big part of that guided him and led him in times of trials and tribulations, and continued to motivate him and love on him. And I know he's going to reciprocate that back to our community, our players, and our students inside this building. Like I said, inside and outside the football program, and we're not only getting a football coach. The greatness of the recommendations that he got from his special education administrator at the Freshman Academy down at what they call the Patriot Academy, from how he treated the staff, how he was always willing to do the extra for all the students that needed anything, that stood out, and I know he'll lead the same way here at Volunteer, because it's what brought him to where he is today. Coach Wagner comes from Jefferson County, as I said, as the associate head coach, the defensive coordinator there. He's also a big part of the strength and conditioning program, and you can see that if you go look at pictures and videos and different things of the bodies and the athletes that Jefferson County has playing at the 6A level. We're not too far from that, and we open up with a 5A Daniel Boone next year that's going to have and is known for that strength and conditioning developed by Jeremy Jenkins. And we believe that that's going to be something that you see, because he's done that already for 2 days that he's been on the job. He was chosen to build with a solid foundation based on discipline, confidence, energy, and availability to his students. You know, that's what he's going to do. That's what he does with his actions. Some of the highlights as a player: he was the Defensive Player of the Year at Volunteer his senior year. He played at Tusculum and Pikeville after going to the military, and he made it all the way to the NFL Combine, just shy of making a 53-man roster in the NFL. So his coaching connections go from the youth all the way to the NFL. And he can name them, and naming them is one thing, but actually having them as a resource is another. And I think you're going to see him utilize those. He's going to stay humble, and he has no fear of reaching out if he don't know or if he don't have all the answers. He's going to find the answers, and he's going to find a way to make it available. He was an 8-year Army veteran where he earned some Purple Hearts for his service as a wounded combat veteran, and he is a man of honor. And I think that goes a long way when you think about the respect that he's going to demand, but also give to your student athletes. He's going to build his staff, and he's going to support them wholeheartedly going forward. He's going to believe in them more than they'll believe in themselves, and he'll carry that right to his student athletes. And he's carried that already and stated that about the administration here, that he believes in something here. He feels that there's something here that is something special, and we all believe that as well. You know, Jim Alshire did say one time that the greatest athletes in the United States is right here at Volunteer High School, and we believe that. And we believe that we can have championships, and we believe that we can build men that can play at the next level, and we believe that we're going to be successful. Most importantly is the student athlete, the student part of the success that you'll see in this program. Jefferson County had a collective team GPA of 3.0 and higher, and that's going to be one of his standards he'll talk about later, is the academic side of growing these guys into leaders that can go out and get careers and get an education that don't have to depend on athleticism all their lives. As we grow older, we all know that have played this game before, how it's worn and torn on our bodies, and eventually there's going to be a time where we have to do something else to make a living for our families, and that's going to be the center and the focus from the start, is the academic side. And you're going to see him lead and do that as well. He'll demand it. Sometimes it may come off as abrasive. Sometimes he may come off as intimidating. But I'm telling you, that big old heart inside, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. He's going to hold them accountable. I know there may be some distrust right now, and that's okay. There's going to be no judgment either way, from him to you, and I hope that's the same from you to he. I'm excited, as you can tell, a little bit emotional again, and I'm ready to move this thing forward. Again, thank you all for being here tonight. We appreciate it. And I'd like to introduce the 2025 Volunteer Falcons head football coach, Mr. Jeremy Wagner. Give him a round of applause.
Not to knock on Coach Bailey here, but I raise this thing up. Y'all can hear me a little bit.
You need help?
That should be good there, right? Y'all hear me now?
Take
We
it out
good?
of mic stand if you need it.
I want to thank God first for putting me in this situation. It's very important to me. I'm lucky to have my in-laws here that are pillars in the walk with Christ. I really don't talk about it a whole bunch because I've been through some things, and I was a non-believer for the longest time, and watching my mother-in-law, my wife, and my father-in-law, like the way they do things and the way they talk to their kids and the way they raise their family is important to me. I didn't grow up that way, but now I have a chance to lead that way. So I'm gonna say that first and foremost. I'm also blessed to have Jeremy and Dr. Sturgill, two men that believe in somebody. that really didn't believe in himself. Because I always believed that, I'm always going to work for somebody. That was the mentality in my family. You're just going to be something. We don't know, but you're going to be something. And I was always chasing a carrot like a rabbit in the woods, so it wasn't always good. And that comes from Gary Hensley there. But I guess it all started in '02. My mom and my family or whatever were in Utah. And I hopped in the back of a U-Haul van and ended up in Churchill, Tennessee. And that's what happens. That's how I traveled. My sister got to fly. I was the muscle, so I loaded everything up, and there it was. Luckily, my papa was here. I love you, Papa. He passed away in 2012. A big pillar in my life. But Coach Hensley's walking around the neighborhood. I'm dunking a basketball as a freshman. I didn't know how athletic I was. I thought it was normal for kids to do that as a freshman. And I was a pretty good athlete and never played a team sport before. Never played one. Couldn't afford it. So I get here, and I think at the time Todd Whittemore was the coach, and me and Chucky Lindholm are hammering a basketball in the gym. And Gene Venable walks up, and he made the biggest impression on me. I never heard a country person speak, because they made fun of the way I talk, because moving from Louisiana, a little somewhat Cajun, or Utah, and probably eating scones and whatnot. He said, who is that? And I was like, what? So what is Gene, who's this? Who names a kid Gene? And that was Coach Venable. And I played for him. And I've never been pushed harder, because he was a pillar in my life, to literally say everything that I did, I could not make that man happy. I talked to him today, and he still was not happy. I said, Coach, you proud of me? He says, hey, kid. Yes. And that was probably the first tear I've shed driving up 11W coming up here from Morristown, because I got to make somebody proud. And I'm praying for you, Coach Venable, as we speak. Next person I want to talk about before I circle back to Coach Hensley is Chad Laster. Chad Laster was an in-placement teacher here, and he was a staple in my life. For everything that I did in the classroom, where I tried to sleep and put my hood up and not worry about nothing, because I was worried about where I was going to sleep. I was going to worry about what I was going to eat. I didn't know what was going on at home. He was the same coach. An educator say, hey, tapped me on the desk and said, hey, you wake up, just give me 5 sentences here, and then we're going to push. He found a way to pace me. And he found a way to talk to me and be my calm. And I think that's important for me growing as a coach moving forward, because I know not every kid can be reached the same way. And that's why I believe once I go through these interviews with the staff, I believe there are coaches on the staff, such as Mike Castle and Jeremy, that can really affect how they speak to the athlete, because I may not be able to reach them all. So give them a chance. I'm here to wash the feet of them too, because they're going to wash mine, and I'm going to wash your sons. So Chad Laster, thank you for being patient and being loving to me in high school. Wendy Overby, she was my biology teacher, and I love her to death. I called her as soon as I found out. And I was eating dinner at Cheddar's with my family while my wife is celebrating her special education party because she don't love me no more. Sorry, babe. But Miss Overby answers the phone. She goes, Utah. I said, yes, ma'am. I can't tell you how many times she stopped me from whooping somebody's butt. I'll just never forget. Her voice would just breaks. Just breaks. And it was teachers like that in this building here that saved my life, because I love coming to volunteer high school. I love coming to school because I was tired of sleeping in my car with my jacket. That was my blanket. That's why I was angry all the time, because I was judging other kids what they had. So I know what some of our boys go through. I didn't know that adversity at that time was going to push me to be educated, to be able to play football. I didn't know that God had a plan for me this whole way. And I know he still does, and that's the crazy part, because I'm here, I'm honored to even be here, and I'm so excited. I couldn't sleep. I didn't fall asleep till about 3 o'clock last night because I wanted to answer everybody's congratulations, coach, that I've impacted. I didn't know I impacted that many young men. And it's a blessing. It honestly a blessing. And no wonder this profession is either like, it's an obsession with me, because every kid that I get to watch grow from 6th grade to they graduate, because I plan on being in the middle schools just as much as I'm in the high school, because I'm obsessed with this game. I'm obsessed with watching somebody grow, because I know a fact. I have 2 little girls at home that need a husband one day, and if there ain't no good men out there, there ain't no dang chance for them. So I promise to make your sons better siblings, better sons, better husbands. I'm not going to be perfect, but let me coach them while you become a fan. Because you can go anywhere I've been and say, hey, there's a coach out there. I'm there till 12 o'clock at night. I'm there till whenever it is, because I'm willing to sacrifice and wash their feet and make sure they do things that they never thought they could do. When your son goes home and says, I can bench 225 for the first time, it is a miracle. When he says, oh, I can squat 315. Because I remember those days. And I'm going to hold them accountable by what they do. I'm going to hold them accountable every time they skip practice. So when they don't get their gear, don't come to me. Come to your son. Say, why weren't you there? Why is this? I just ask for your support. As much support as I've gotten so much love from this community already. I have former players here that I played with. I have the admin support that I have received. It was hard to leave Jefferson County, the pinnacle of high school football in the state of Tennessee. The pinnacle. Absolute one of the best places I've ever worked at, with a guy that I absolutely love, and Spencer Riley. He always talks about, well, he don't really talk about Peyton that much, and I hate to offend y'all, but he loved T. Martin. Everybody thinks Peyton won the national championship. It was T. And I'm sorry, Dr. Bass, I know we're not talking about Tennessee and it's not Alabama, but he hates them too. But his daughter does play softball there. So Caitlin, this is a shout out to you. All I know is this. Gary Hensley saved my life. I had other teachers here at volunteer, and coaches along the way. I mean, I can't tell you, I can go down the list with Coach McLean. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter to you. It ain't about me. It's going to be about your kid, because I'm going to put them first in everything I do. That's what I'm going to do here, because this place put me first when they didn't have to. And I believe we got people in the building here, and I promise to make them happy, whether it be cooking burgers or something to make sure that they have something in their classroom. I'm going to support every classroom. I'm going to support every admin. I'm going to support the coaches when they're having a bad day, because I don't mind being an umbrella. Nobody loved a captain who sailed smooth seas. And I've been through rough waters all my life. But now you got me. And I'm going to drive this ship, and I'll make sure that we win some ball games here. It's going to be built day by day, minute by minute. But I'm going to pour everything I have into this community to give it an opportunity so we're competitive. Your boys will play with a passion that you've never seen them play before, because I'm going to love them harder than anybody else in here. I'm going to spend more time with your kid than most of y'all do. I'm going to put up their cell phone. They're not going to have their cell phone during football practice. They're going to turn it in. They're going to unplug, so they don't just hear me, they listen to me. So they listen to the coaches. I'm not going to allow the coaches to have everything they want either. I know that's discipline. It's going to be hard. But I do hard things well, because that's what Jeremy Wagner does. I do hard things well. And if we teach our kids to do hard things well, they'll be successful in everything they do, because life is hard. And that's what it's about. It's about discipline, grit, and sacrifice. And if we don't get those 3 things right now with the school, not just football, we are failing everything we have. We are failing everything we have. And what I mean by that is this place will have no growth. And everybody talks about Churchill that have no growth. Man, I did see a Dollar General. Mount Carmel guy is nice. I'm gonna stop by and pick me up some candy. But I tell you right now, I ain't gonna give no player candy if he can't show up to practice. And I dang sure ain't gonna share with a coach. Because I'm hard like that. You're not gonna get everything easy with me. It's all about commitment. What are you willing to sacrifice? Shared adversity. So I have a contract here, and I will have a meeting. I plan on talking to Dr. Sturgill and the other admin. I'd love them to be present when I have a parent meeting the first week when we get back from break, so I can get things flying around here. It's just something I believe in. You all will sign it. Your athlete will sign it, and we'll keep a copy of it so we can hold each other accountable. As much as I hold them accountable, I want you to hold me accountable too. So it's all fair. And that's what I have here. Is there anything that y'all need to know about me besides my playing experience? Because you can Google that. I'm not going to waste your time. You can Google that. I'm open for
Gary, where's that mic?
I'm open for any questions now.
At this time, if you have any questions you want to address, give me an acknowledgement. We'll bring the mic to you. And we'll stay as long as you have questions and want to answer. Of course, we'd like to start with the media. Carmen?
I would just ask, you mentioned putting your coaching staff together. What is the plan for and timeline for getting that worked out?
Okay, so to be 100% honest with you, I'm going to come in, I'm going to interview every coach individually, but I'm also going to interview them collectively. I'm not going to hear them, I'm going to listen to them. There's a big difference of the two. That's why I use the word listen more than hear, because I think a lot of people just want to hear things, and it's all about perception. So my perception of this is to tell y'all to pray for me and to pray for their families too. Because I'm going to be a blessing to everybody here, whether they coach with me or not. And I'm going to set some stuff up before Christmas, some individual meetings. And I'm going to pray. And I'm going to ask for references. And I'm also going to I'm going to see what their character's like. It's more important to me than X's and O's. I believe I can teach that to men, and that they're willing to put the kid first.
Sorry. Anyone else? Any other media questions? That covered there. Anyone? Okay. Again, we'll have an opportunity if you want to during that coaches meeting that he's going to have after Christmas to ask as well. Any other comments or questions from you all? Coaching staff? Anybody?
Players, anybody.
Players, you got anything?
Mamas.
Mamas?
I think that as a mom, we went through seasons, and I feel personally, last season, Hobbs was wonderful. I think he did a great job. Those kids respected him. Our first two seasons here, there was zero accountability for crap behavior and attitudes and throwing helmets, other than Dr. Sturgill and Jeremy. I mean, that's the only people who responded to it. And last season, we got to see Hobbs step in and talk to these kids. What are your expectations for that? Because as somebody who spends my entire football season, with the booster club and team support, I'm tired of seeing the kid throw a $500 helmet and kick it and sling it around. And I just want to better understand, what do you look at that as?
That's a great question. So I'm so glad you asked me that. The first thing is this: is none of these kids, you ask them what the word culture is, they can't tell you. So I'm gonna tell you right now, you're looking at culture. They got to have somebody that's seasoned, not just X's and O's, but understand how to reach not one kid, but figure out guys to reach other kids. And that's what I was talking about with the staff. Like Pops does a great job, and Coach Castle, I've seen a lot of that. There's a lot of positivity and a lot of negativity. Like you can look at it, right, yin and yang. But this is what I tell you: packet I'm gonna give your son, I'm gonna give you a copy as well. It has everything broke down to it. There's definitions of it. We're gonna go over it on PowerPoint. It's gonna be a boring meeting. I'm not gonna lie to you. My expectations of you as a parent is to be a fan and let your boy play football because he goes to school one time. There's only 40 games promised. And when it's done, it's done. Whether you're 30 years old and hanging them up or 55 at Tom Brady and hanging them up, nobody's asking to play full contact football in the park. So be the best mama fan you can be. Yell at me, don't yell at him. That's why you pay the ticket price. The other thing is this discipline. They're gonna have encouraged time with me. They're gonna understand what 24 inches a piece of wood is and they're gonna push it across that field. I will handle it. And I'm gonna handle it with grace and elegance. And if they don't like it, they can turn their equipment in and I'll have a meeting with their parents. If their parents don't like it, I'll have a meeting with admin, with their parents. Sometimes it might be the best thing for the kid is understand to take away a passion to get them back on track. And sometimes that's a difficult conversation to have, to be honest with you, because I was that kid at one point. So, have any other questions?
One of the things that has been a problem in recent years is dwindling numbers because of the problems. You're facing 2 seasons without a win. It's hard for kids to keep playing when they're losing.
Right.
What do you do to encourage athletes who may be great athletes in the hallways to come out to play football game?
Well, the number one thing is this, is like everybody, I mean, it's the Dion effect, you know, and nobody wants to address that, but look good, feel good. You ask any kid, they're going to what? Play good. Dion does that. Now, we have kids that are like Dionisk, and then you have kids that are J.J. Watt type. And we have got to have coaches that embrace both of those roles, because we're eclectic here in that eclectic community, right? It's a melting pot, and that's one thing that we got to do to reach different kids. Not one teacher may not reach another kid, not one coach may reach another kid. But what I do is this, is I host a middle school 7-on-7, and the field will be open on Sundays. So they're welcome to play. We don't have a movie theater in Church Hill like I checked out. We don't have none of that. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna open up that field. And I'm gonna figure out a way to get kids to be out here and play outside. And we're gonna make football great again. That's what we're gonna do. And I just look at it like this, because if we don't have the opportunity for the kid to use the field or be outside and they don't see a coach, why would they play for a coach? You gotta be present. And that's the seat right here. You gotta be present. And my daughters always tell me, how are the sons that you never had? Because they know it's important. And that comes down to sacrificing time and family. That's how I plan on doing it. I also plan on adding a few graphics up. I say we fly together, and the boys say together we fly. And I believe that being in the hallways, I believe that maybe adding a logo of whatever they want, but I believe they need to earn it. I mean, at the end of the day, you go to high school one time. You have the rest of your life to be a college student or professional or anything else you want. The time don't stop for nobody, and neither does the energy wasted. So we need to pour it in our youth and pour it in our football program along with other sports. Because I think we have amazing coaches here. Is a big part of my decision, because every single one of them reached out to me. It is probably one of the most welcoming things. And for other men to actually swallow their pride and let somebody else like me come in and willingly work with me is a huge asset. So I think once I meet with all them coaches as well, we're gonna band this thing together and we'll be okay. We'll fly together.
How much emphasis do you put on building a good JV program?
All right, so my emphasis of building a JV program, I'll tell you this right now. They will get just as many reps as a varsity kid will. I don't believe in cutting minutes in JV football game. If we're gonna pay officials to be here and pay them full time, they're going to work that full time. Does that make sense? I know a lot of coaches say, hey, we'll just have a running clock and blah, blah, blah. No, we're going to keep it game-like because that kid deserves that game-like experience. I believe in everybody participating on JV, even if they couldn't crack an egg or walk and chew bubble gum. The reason is because I've watched kids that could not do anything catch a pass. I've seen them go out there and run a route. If that kid can run a route, well, hey, throw him the ball. If that kid can tackle, all right, let's see if he can tackle. Let's see if he can play a little bit of varsity. Let them earn their way up to play special teams of varsity where those other kids get a break. Let them be part of that brotherhood. The biggest developmental issue is also the weight room. Our middle schools don't have a weight room program that is properly, like CSCS, we don't have a qualified official or coach in there, whether in the weight room program during school. If our middle school programs understood that basic athletic movement was a priority, our kids would have better PE classes. I'm just calling it spade for spade. Because when I was here, there was a test. There was a requirement. And so, I'll go back to the military. They ask you to run 2 miles. They ask you to do push-ups. They ask you to do sit-ups. They ask you to do things when you're in gear. There's no different than that than asking a football player to run a sprint. Am I wrong? Because last night when I watched the girls' basketball team, it was probably one of the most physical basketball games I've ever seen. And it was the greatest thing of all time, the passion they played with. That's what we need in our middle schools, because that's what elite schools are doing. They have weight rooms for their kids. They have Division I facilities for their kids. At the end of the day, parents are putting their kids first, and I don't blame you. So it's time that we banded together once again and we start flying together around here and putting our kids first. All of us. It ain't just us. It ain't just football. It's all of us. So that's that.
Any other questions? Thank you for these as well. Great questions.
Do you want to discuss how you plan to be in the school, like what football, how you plan to be on Friday, 8 to 3?
Yeah, so I talked to, gosh darn it, Jared, I'm sorry. I talked to HR today, and I'm getting all that processed and done right now. So we're going to work on our schedule. I know Dr. Sturgill introduced me to Ms. Trexel, and I'm just going to be in the school. I'm going to be helping CDC here, and I cannot wait because that's probably one of my favorite things to do is to help kids with disabilities. Or learning disabilities, or maybe just a normal kid that needs struggles, whatever. But I also want to understand that they're going to be a part of our program too, because that's how life is. And we have struggles in everything we do. But my thing is this: I'm gonna make sure that kid gets over those struggles with some hurdle help. I want to make sure they understand that, hey, look, understand the social aspect of things. It's probably one of the most important things, social aspect. Understand that everything's normal, that they're going to be okay, that we're going to love them, we're going to take care of them, we're going to put our arm around them. 8 to 3, 7:30, 10, but as a ball coach, there is no 8 to 3. It's whenever the sun goes down and you close your office and hopefully you vacuum it. So that's about time for me.
You referenced facilities several times over the last few minutes, and you and I were here, a lot has changed. Do you have a plan to bring in additional financial support or
Yes.
build and enhance their facilities as you referenced?
Yeah, so I can attest to you that I've sold a lot of laundry detergent, and it is absolutely probably one of the greatest things of all time. It's a big money maker. It's a need, not a want. And slowly, I want to get with the booster club, and I want to get with admin sometimes, and maybe we go out and have a burger or two and actually talk about this over feeding each other, because you got to break bread and rub elbows with people. I have a few connections in this world that I plan on doing some things. I want to paint the weight room. I want to take those mirrors out so when the boys walk in, it looks just something totally different. I want to get some newer equipment in there. And then gradually, I would love to knock a wall out, make it another area for a plyometric area, yet make all the kids in one locker room so they're not separated because there's too much room for activities and something wrong to go on. I want to hold them accountable by putting stuff in their lockers and telling them this is how your helmet's supposed to be, this is how your jersey's supposed to be, this is how it's supposed to be, your cleats go here. Like a dress right dress thing. It's important to me. Because in order to do the big things, you got to do the little things. And you know that. That was our standard here.
Additional questions?
Anybody else? Audrey, don't ask no questions. What question you want, Mom?
What's my job?
Well, to embarrass my wife. That'd be the greatest thing of all time. That'd be the greatest thing. No, your job, I talked to, what's your name again? Brittany. She needs help serving food. You're gonna find people to help us serve. Good at serving people and loving on them. So we're gonna help assist with that. That's what we're gonna do. Okay. Is there anything else? I thank you for your time. Pray for me and my family. Pray for the coaching staff, as I pray for you guys in this community to give me grace when I mess up. Give me wisdom and guidance as I speak. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to learn through this process. I'm going to grow too. But I'm going to love your son. And they're going to be loved hard. And I hope you're ready to win some ball games. Together we fly.
Again, we'll organize that parent meeting after Christmas break, and we thank you all for being here in attendance tonight. Coach Wagner is going to sit around. I know sometimes stage fright or whatever it may be, appropriateness of asking a question, or you may have a question that may needs to be answered privately that you want to ask, and feel free to stick around. Support this man. Players and family members that are here tonight, respectfully ask that get these people, get this community involved. We're going to do our very best to put that foot forward. We're going to be here. I know the question was about the field house there, and we're going to take care of that. We're going to start cleaning on that thing first and foremost and get that thing to where the standard needs to be, and then the players are going to help us carry it forward. We're going to do that legwork in the front end to show them, what the expectation is. And I've done it at the middle school level, and Jeremy's done it everywhere he's went, and I think that's going to be very important. I know the infrastructure, when you look at the facilities and the things that we have done collectively through the community and people supporting that with the gym and the football field and the baseball field and the softball fields, you don't get no better facilities at the 4A level than right here at Volunteer High School. So now it's time to put that emphasis into the football program, because it is the catalyst at the beginning of the year that makes a year or breaks a year with a student body. And when football gets rolling, everything else gets better. Academics get better, discipline gets better within the hallways, the community wants to get involved, money starts to come in, sponsors want to be a part of something big. And most of all, this is a special community that's always been welcoming to outsiders like myself, who was red and black for a long time. And I don't think there's going to be any difference for this man coming back home. It should be easier. So he's coming home, and he's going to do it for your boys most of all. You know, I know some of them are intimidated. They may think it's going to be military and all this. It's going to be out of love, and they're going to understand the why to everything that the process. As the process unfolds, you're going to understand the why. He's not just going to do something and leave you open-ended. He's going to explain it. He's going to be available all hours of the night. It's very brave for a coach to share a cell phone number like he did with those men yesterday and say, call anytime you need me. And that stands out incredibly to me. I never did it. I didn't do that. So I think that's honorable. I think he carries a passion, as you've seen tonight, that can come across as maybe strong, okay? But you know, I don't think you need to have concerns of he's going to treat your kid unfairly. I don't think you have concerns that he's not going to love them. And I know this program is going to grow. All the others have. When you build it, they're going to come. You parents, stakeholders, everybody that's here tonight, you want something special. You believe the same things that we're believing. You're going to see the actions, and I think everybody else is. It's like taking cattle to water. You get that one going, and that's going to start with one of you leaders on the team. Getting that one person that's a polarizing person on that team to believe and start doing it. And as C.J. Jennings was for him, whose name is on that field house. C.J. Jennings was his training partner as a freshman. C.J. Jennings motivated him. And if C.J. Jennings is going to be on that wall out the outside of the field house, you can believe that he's going to do everything in that to honor him as he watches over this program. Again, thank you. Thank you for believing in me for 5 years. Thank you for believing in all of us. Thank you for believing in this little school in East Tennessee where nobody thinks it's possible. But as I said when we introduced the field, there's no excuses. There's no reasons why we can't. Thank you. We appreciate you. We fly together. Together, we will fly. That concludes the press conference for the 2025 head football coach. Merry Christmas. God bless you. Have a great night.